In this video, I'll be ranking weird ass shit that I do that's going to be to a point where I make over $45,000 per month in my early 20s. And the first thing is acting like a horse in a race. Okay, if you know anything about horse racing, they have blinders on their eyes, just like this photo right here. Put blinders on the horse's eyes. Why is that? Because otherwise the horses get distracted by the competitors and focus on something else, and that's why they lose the race. Exact same thing I've applied in my own life. That's got me to the point where I'm at right now, where I'm extremely like hyper, almost autistically focused on one thing, and that's for me been sales over the last couple of years. And that's how I got to the point where I'm making the money I'm making right now. Most people, they don't do this, they struggle. And I'll actually put this at 8 tier because of that. Because the reason why most of you guys watching this video right now, probably why you're stuck, is because you're jumping from thing to thing to thing. If you just focus on one single skill for a long amount of time, success becomes inevitable. This has been a huge thing on my journey. It's just being very, very locked in on one single thing and having these blinders always. I just force myself to not get distracted by opportunities. I've had so many things come up on my journey. It's been everything from like all kinds of like very flashy and like good opportunities I've had come up. But it's like constantly told myself, I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to have my blinders on. It's been a huge thing on my journey. Second thing, we're going to put, well, let's put diet. Okay. I eat a fully raw meat diet. I've been doing so for the last about 6 months at this point. I only eat raw meat, raw eggs, raw butter, and things like that. This hasn't been like a huge thing in terms of direct income. You know, obviously like what you eat doesn't equate money in your bank account. It's about the actions that you do. But it's helped me to have way more mental bandwidth, make better decisions, focus. And obviously in what I do with high ticket sales, I'm on sales calls usually all day long and I have to listen to people. So it's very, very important to have that ability to actively listen. That's definitely been helped by having a good, clean diet. So I'll put this at C tier right here. It's definitely been important on my journey, but it hasn't been like game changing in terms of specifically hitting these income numbers. Next thing, and this is a massive, massive thing, is I am very, very strict when it comes to who I listen to. I have this rule for myself where if someone has not been where I want to be, if someone hasn't, let's say they haven't achieved the income that I want, they haven't built the business that I want to build, they haven't gotten the physique that I want, they haven't gotten the relationship that I want, I do not listen to that person's advice. And I'm super specific to this. This is one big thing that I see a lot of people struggle with right now because I've coached so many beginners and helping them make money online and achieve their goals. And it's that they listen to people that have not achieved what they want. I used to do this. My parents, my old friends, when they give me advice, I used to listen to them. And then realize if someone hasn't been where I want to be, they're not going to give me the right advice. So now I'm super, super strict with that. I do not listen to anything from anyone that hasn't actually been where I want to be. I mean, it's very selective with what information I actually take in. And this is a huge thing because if you don't do this, if you listen to your parents who's never built a business and you listen to their advice, which I used to do, you will be stuck because their advice is not going to be coming from the right perspective, not going to give the right advice to get to your goal. And it's very typical of someone who's a beginner, listen to their parents, and they're like, yo, you shouldn't start your business, it's a massive risk, etc. And then you back off, and then you don't achieve your goal. So I'll put this actually at 8 tier right here. It's super, super crucial to not listen to people who haven't achieved what you want to achieve. It's been a key thing on my journey to get where I'm today. Next thing is, let's do this one. Grab. So what does this mean? It means grabbing opportunities and actually like going after stuff. Okay, especially in Sweden where I'm from, people are overall very just kind of leaned back. Everyone is like expecting stuff to kind of fall into their lap. You know, that no one is really going out and like putting himself out there, talking positively about themselves and like going after opportunities. Everyone is just like kind of careful. You know, the example is, for example, I saw some video on YouTube with some guy like talking on stage. He's like giving out, I think it's like $100 bill. And he's like, I have this $100 bill here. Who wants to get this bill? And then one person like ran up to him and like took the bill, and everyone else is like sitting there and waiting. Okay, that's the exact point here, is going after opportunities, not sitting back there and it's like waiting for stuff to just like fall into your lap. Understand that it's your responsibility. You have to be the person who's going to step up and take stuff and make stuff happen. That's been a key thing on my journey, because especially again from my family, like where I've grown up, and it's like my parents and everything. I've always been like kind of raised in a mindset of not going after stuff. So it's been a huge thing that I had to shift. This is like going out, speaking positively about myself, speaking with belief, going after opportunities. It's like grabbing life by the balls, if you want to call it that way. Massive, massive thing. At the end of the day, someone who has audacity to go after their goals is going to beat the person who's like just been putting in all the reps and training and learn all these different skills. You know, you always beat that person by being audacious and just taking action on your goals and being able to just grab opportunities, basically. Massive, massive thing here. I'll actually put this at S tier Because at the end of the day, you can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have the like audaciousness, like the confidence, just go out and take action on your goals and then really go and grab opportunities and speak with conviction and sell people on your goals, etc., you're not gonna get to your goals by doing it. It's been such a key thing on my journey, is like speaking with conviction, even when I had no proof of my goals being possible. Next thing is traveling, and especially like, I travel a lot. Like last couple of years, I've been to a lot of different countries, and I travel very, very frequently. And especially leaving my hometown. Leaving your hometown, I think, is one of the most important things that you need to do as a new like entrepreneur, someone who's just like ambitious, taking your own path. Because when you leave your hometown, you surround yourself with new people. Shifting that environment shifts your beliefs, how you think, and it unlocks this kind of new level to the game, if that makes sense. That's what it did for me. When I left my hometown, like everything just took off for me. I went from literally being broke to making my first 10K a month in 3 months, because I was surrounded with people that were where I wanted to be, and their beliefs, how they spoke, everything rubbed off on me. I went from Sweden, I moved halfway across the world to Medellin, Colombia. A great hotspot, by the way, to be in if you're just like in the upcoming phase right now. And yeah, that's where I went. And doing that was definitely one of the biggest things. I'll put that as S tier. I said all the time with people, they stay in their hometown and they think that they're doing well, and then they leave, they go to some of these hotspots in the world, and boom, their income is like shoots for the roof, and it's like they grow so much. So definitely S tier, leaving your hometown, and then it's like traveling overall. Every single income jump that I've had, I've made some type of shift in my environment. Usually I've traveled somewhere new, hang around new people, and then my income goes up. So traveling, huge thing, not just for what I said right now, but also just the personal development you get by traveling a lot. Next thing on this list, we'll do this like spiritual meditation thing right here. Basically, the point, like what this means is being aware of your state. Okay, when I was new in entrepreneurship, and I was like in the beginning stage of my journey, when I was living in Sweden, running an agency and doing some other stuff back in the day, and I was broke, I did not get the importance. I thought that like manifestation and like mindset and things like that, because I used to watch Alex Hormozi a lot, that was all like BS, and you should just like work harder and just like push yourself further. Something that I've learned going from making my first, when I made my first 10K and getting to a point where now I make over 45K a month, has been that your state and your internal talk is literally everything. And here's the thing: it's like I realized I have days where like I show up and I do the exact same work, but if I'm not in the right state, the quality of the work and the result of that is nowhere near what it could have been. And I have other days where I show up and like I'm just in the right state, and I might work less, but I just notice like the output and the results is so much better. Like for example, a video like this, or a sales call that I take, or like a coaching session that I do for one of the sales teams that I manage. Everything is like 10 times better when my state is in the right, or when I'm in the right state, basically. So learning how to control your state and learning how to control and like your self-talk, etc., and your what goes on in your head is massive thing. And when I learned to do this and I started practicing like identity and realized, okay, like who do I actually want to be, aligning my thoughts, emotions, decisions to the version of myself that is the highest version of me, that's really when a lot of things just started flowing in my life, and I made more money without working hard necessarily. So I think this, managing your state, it's definitely up here. It's S tier. I'm filling up this row pretty quickly, but this is one of those things, like if you get this in place, people that have less skills still make more money, because again, they grab opportunities. But why does this even happen? It happens because of who you are internally, your internal state. If you believe in yourself that you can do something, you go out and take actions that no one else is going to take, yes, because of your belief. That's why the state and how you speak to yourself matters so much more than anything else really on this list. I would actually put this like even above S tier, because everything else, you will not leave your hometown if you don't have the belief in yourself. You're not gonna go after opportunities if you don't have this belief in this state that you can actually make it happen. So state is really like the top thing on this list. Has helped me get to where I am today. Next thing here is, let's do this one, having like a lonely chapter. And this is actually like a big thing that I started with a lot, because here's the thing, like in society, everyone's like, you don't want to go against the grain, you don't want to be different, you should like just be liked by everyone. And a big thing that I had to learn pretty early on my journey was that if I want to take a different path from most other people, I also have to make decisions in a way that most people will not accept. And the first time I had to face this was like when I invested in my first ever course to get into running an agency. I was 2.5K, all the savings that I had when I was living with my parents when I was 17 years old. And I remember buying that course and telling my parents that I bought a course, and they were like, "Are you stupid? Like, get a refund right now, back out of the course, it's not going to work, you will get scammed." And that was the first time I realized, like, I believed I saw the vision, basically. I saw that this is going to work out. But they were like, this completely is like trying to kill the idea altogether. And that's when I realized first time, it's like this journey of making it, becoming successful, making all this money, whatever you want to call it. It comes with being okay with a lot of people not understanding you. The only way you get to a point where you get to the top 1% of income, let's say, is by doing stuff that most, like 99% of people, do not understand fundamentally. And that is lonely. It doesn't mean you can, obviously, you can surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing and on the same journey, but fundamentally, you're going to be going against what most people, your friends, family, what they think and their beliefs around the world. And that's lonely. And accepting that's such a huge thing, because a lot of people, they don't get that. They think that I can get to these goals that I have while being liked and understood by everyone in my surrounding. That's not going to happen. So understanding this, I think it's a key thing. Definitely up here, I'll put it as A tier for sure. Because you won't get if you're constantly listening to your friends and family trying to make everyone understand what you're doing, you're not going to get to your goals at the end of the day. Like, you will have to just like break free, take your own path. And that's something I had to do pretty early, and I'll be able to consistently like learn to do now, where at this point, I don't generally care if people around me support me or not. I just take my own path no matter what. And I listen to only people that have actually, again, done what I want to be doing. Ego, next thing, is kind of tied to this. I genuinely believe that if I would not have the belief deep down that I'm to some extent better than other people, if I wouldn't have like this focus, this massive, this egocentric focus, I would not go to where I'm at today. And when you look at anyone who's successful, why do they get to the point where they're successful? It's because they take actions, and they act from a place of they believe in themselves massively. And in order to believe in yourself long enough to start a business, let's say, or to learn a skill for multiple years, since like put in the work that's taken for me to hit 45, 50K a month, obviously I had to have like a biggest belief in myself, which some people call ego. So I think this is something that's positive. A lot of people look down at ego, it's a bad thing, etc. For myself, I think that it's 100% one of the most important things that you can have and you need to have. Because again, if you don't believe in yourself, you don't take the actions, and someone who's more audacious, someone who's more cocky or more confident than you will win over you. Just because you don't believe in yourself. So having ego, having self-belief, and being self-centered to a certain extent, looking at feeling like the world revolves around you, that's when you operate from the perspective. It comes back to this, like the spiritual and manifestation realm. If you believe that the world centers around you, again, you take actions, you realize you're the one in control, and then you realize when I'm in control, I decide where my life is heading as well. So having a big ego, I think, is actually one of the most important things. It's not bad whatsoever. Next thing, okay, speaking. And specifically what I mean by this one is speaking extremely, extremely directly and having a very high say-do ratio. When I say I'm going to do something, I stick to that, okay? This might seem like a weird thing. A lot of people don't get this in the beginning of their journey, especially when they get into sales. But a key thing to build confidence, to build this conviction in yourself, to be able to have this massive self-belief is, number one, speaking very directly. A lot of people, they don't get what they want in their life because they don't communicate properly. They don't know how to express what they want. They don't know how to win someone else's way of thinking over to what they want. They don't know how to persuade other people. And another thing is also they say you're gonna do stuff, set out goals, set out habits, and you don't stick to them. So both these different things, like being very cautious of the stuff that I throw out in the universe. When I say I'm gonna do something, being cautious that I actually make that happen, number one. And then also speaking it in a very, very direct way and learning how to communicate properly to get people to actually do what I want. That's been a key thing. Again, I'll put this at A, because this skill of persuasion, learning how to communicate, and then also holding myself to high standards and holding promises myself has really gotten me to where I'm at today. Next up, we have being extremely, extremely strict with my calendar. Okay, so I basically live by my calendar. Every single day, I use Google Calendar to plan out literally every single 30 minutes of my day, what I'm going to be doing, okay? For me personally, the way that I work, I need to have that stuff planned out. If I don't have my calendar, like exactly what I'm going to be doing, I just end up doing nothing at all, probably because I'm pretty lazy naturally. So I plan out exactly what I'm going to do every single day. It's been super, super key on my journey to be able to have that, so I know exactly what I'm going to be doing every single hour. And doing that has allowed me to be way more productive, and obviously as a result of that, make way more money. I put this at B tier. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but in the day for me, it's been super, super impactful. I think for most people, you will benefit a lot by having a calendar that you put everything on, so you have it very strictly planned out. And every single hour of the day, what you're gonna be spending your time on, and make sure that stuff you're doing is actually the most high ROI activity as well, getting you close towards your goal. And now on to the last thing on this list, which is meditation. Okay, meditation for me is one of the biggest things that I keep talking about when I coach new students in my program, when I look at my own journey. It's a night and a difference when I started meditating in my life, because before I was super, super distracted. I was very just frustrated overall. I don't know why, but when I was a kid, I was just very annoyed overall in my life, and just very scattered throughout. I couldn't stick to something. I would work on something and then just check my phone and get distracted constantly. I was just very scattered overall. When I started meditating, I became calmer. My just like mood overall got way better. I got control of my mind. I could actually focus on stuff for a long time in terms of like business and making money and learning skills. I got better relationships because I was less frustrated and less just like annoyed overall. Everything got so much better, and everything else on this list built upon me being able to be aware of my thoughts. And most people right now, especially with like brain rot and like AI and all the stuff that's going on right now, are extremely bad at just like being aware of what's going on inside of their mind. They don't have control over their thoughts. And how are you going to compete with people that do when you lack that? When you lack that control over your thoughts, you feel an emotion, you see something, you get an idea of I want to do this or this feeling or this thoughts, and you just act on it. One of the biggest things is like in entrepreneurship, in business, in learning high income skills, you need to be able to detach from like emotions that come up in the moment and be able to look at yourself from this like higher perspective, and look at your situation objectively. When you get that ability, you like business and making money becomes easy, honestly, because you get the ability to start catching yourself when you have these negative loops of thinking, etc., that will otherwise keep you stuck. So meditation, I'll put up here at S tier as well. So that is my list. I hope this was valuable and give you some insights. And now it's up to you to actually implement some of this stuff if you want in your own life. And yeah, that's it for the video. I'll see you tomorrow in the next one. Take care. Ciao.